Hello, All Israel News viewers. I'm Oriel Moran. This is Levi from Discover Israel, Tour with Levi. Levi, where are we and what are we doing here today?
We're in the ancient Canaanite city of Arad, mentioned directly in the Bible in Babi Debar. Very excited to discover a new site which is hardly visited, the largest Canaanite city that we have inside of Israel, which is undug, and only maybe 15% of it is actually dug. So we're going to go here, we're going to explore the lifestyle, the things that Abraham would have seen inside the visit.
Wonderful, let's go.
The highest number of ancient Hebrew inscriptions were found here inside of the Israelite fortress of Tel Arad. From the 9th until the 6th century BCE, we can see a strong Jewish presence here. As it being the southern border and protector of Judea, this is why we have a little bit of a fort city. Now, this was a military outpost, including a settlement for people, for trade, and multiple other things, as we found inside of these inscriptions. We're going through the most important part of the city right now, which is the gate of the city. We can see two towers on both sides, which soldiers or guards would have stood, and then when we walk inside the first entrance, we can see two rooms on both sides, where you would be asked for your administrative fee, or you would be judged to make sure that you weren't a danger to the city. And you can see it's not so simple to walk in. You have this complex higher ground before you can walk into the city itself as it was built. Let's go and explore the ancient lifestyle of the Israelites during the First Temple period, where they had a stronghold out here, and we can see how they formed their own spiritual capital here as becoming their own beacon of worshipping God out here, and how that kind of changed during the times of Hizkiel. Here we can see a replica of the same style as Solomon's temple, just not quite in Jerusalem. Now, Hizkiel wasn't so happy with that. He has these major reforms in the year 701 BCE, where he goes and he destroys the temples inside everywhere of Jerusalem, and then brings the main pillar of worship back to Jerusalem. But here we can see the same style temple that we would have seen in Jerusalem, just away. Now they had the priests here, we had a high priest, they had sacrifices here, and everything the same to worship God. Now, a classic temple layout had three sections. You had the section with the Holy of Holies called the Tvir, you had the section of where you had the Mizbach, where you'd have the sacrifices, and the section of where most of the people were. It's very similar to Solomon's temple. An altar of earth you should make for me. Previously, we saw an altar of stone. Now we're going to see an altar of earth, which signifies one of the basic halachot, the strict laws in Judaism of what has to be done for an altar. So this is another sign that shows that they were following the ways of Judaism, just not quite in Jerusalem. Now here we can see mud brick, which is components made of solely of earth as opposed to the stone bricks, and this is one of the places that we can see an altar. We're also not going to see stairs coming up, more of a ramp just onto the higher platforms. Now we're going from the place of the altar into the place of the Holy of Holies. We're gonna give it about 10 seconds just to feel the resonance of this place, because a lot of holy worship was done here, and a lot of prayers with very strong influence was here. As I said, in the 8th century, we can see this place is no longer used. Now, there was what we call a mizbeach here, sort of. You can see that one stone, the matzeva, which is then standing upright to signify the original is actually inside the Israel Museum, like every other good thing around here. But we can see this was the center of great holy and important worship, which is contradictory mainly to a lot of the basic practices that would have been done in Jerusalem. Now, this was competition. It wasn't only a competition of worship, it was also a competition of a basis of spiritual prayer, which means it had to be then reunited back in Jerusalem. Now, we know at that period of time we had the king Ahab, or the house of Omri, who were praying to all kinds of gods, including the Baal and other idol worship. Now, it's hard to control something when it's scattered throughout the country. It's easier to control something when it's recentered back inside of the Holy Temple of Jerusalem, where the first temple originally stood. And Hizkiel understood that. and he was a person who found favor in God's eyes. He then reunites everyone in the end of the 8th century, so 701 BCE, where we can see a big downfall and decline here. Now, this city continues going until the year about 586, where the Babylonian king comes and he destroys the temple in Jerusalem. While he does that, he also destroys all of the cities inside of Judea, and this is one of the downfalls that we can see inside the city, where we no longer see residents here.
So being here at this Mizbeach really causes me to think about the way in which God wants to be found. We understand that they weren't worshiping him in Jerusalem, but how did God want us to come and approach him when we do? It says in Psalms 24, "Mi aleh behar Adonai v'mi amod b'mkom kodsho." Who will come and ascend the mountain of the Lord, and who will stand in this holy place? Those who have a pure heart and clean hands. It makes me think about how us as human beings, we keep searching for truth. We seek the divine. We seek guidance. When I look at Israel today, I think of all the different ways in which people seek the God of Israel. And the thing that unites us is the ways of God, the Torah, the establishment of how he told us to follow him and to walk after him. Everywhere that they were, they wanted to make it a place for God. And in order to seek the God of Israel, we have to seek him in the way that he wants to be found. And it says in Isaiah that God's thoughts and ways are higher than our own ways and thoughts. And it makes me wonder if I do that in my own life. Do I exchange my thoughts and my ways for God's ways? Do I have a pure heart and clean hands before God when I come to him? It's really a lot of food for thought.
As this being a fort city, it was a fort city for a reason. This place was destroyed 6 times. The most valuable element was water. So if we're about to go down inside of this massive water system, which they created channels throughout the mountains around us to then bring water to here, so it would be inside of the fort. Now, it was destroyed because of pretty much the conflict zone and the different empires coming to take it over, including the siege of the wage of Sancheriv and Nebuchadnezzar. And also internal fighting from the Israelites itself. From the top, we could already see some of these aqueduct channels, the ancient ones, which would then lead the water coming down these old steps. So we could see actually the entrance holes over here where the water would have come in. And there's multiple of them to fill this place up with water, and this one has supplied them with water throughout the year. It is quite massive. On the wall we have spackle, and you can see there's not only one layer of spackle. You have one layer, you have another layer underneath, and a third and a fourth and a fifth layer. These were constantly refurbished. It was constantly redone to make sure that they can preserve the water. And if you look how thick the spackle is here, we're talking 2,700 years ago, the spackle, you can see how much effort they put in just to preserve the water. So this is one layer. You can see a second layer on top over here, which is refurbished, a third layer on top over here, and finally a fourth layer on top.
So we just went down from where the Mizbeach was into this water cistern, and in between you sort of had a little prayer with yourself in your tefillin. How does it feel for you to pray in this place?
So I love to pray in places where worship has been had for hundreds and thousands of years. Previously, I think that it resides, these prayers, it really has an effect on a specific place. I find it's easier to connect, and I feel a pull, which is an existential pull, which then helps my prayer be uplifted and helps my mindset kind of go straight. Coming near the administrative building where over 100 ostraka pieces were. Ostraka is clay, which was with inscription on it in Paleo Hebrew. So this is the largest library or collection of notes that we have here. Eliashav was the person who writes a lot of these inscriptions, which this shows us that this place wasn't just an outpost for regular people, but it was also an administrative center where great trade would have come through. And you can see the vantage point where we are. We can even see the new city of Beersheba and so on and so forth. So we know that trade happened from Egypt going up to Mesopotamia. It definitely passed here with the different kinds of potteries that we found and with the ostrakas we found. Now, what is an ostraka? If we look over here, we can see a specific ostraka that was found inside of Arad, and here's another ostraka that was found inside of Lachish. And these particularly was cheaper than the papyrus, and so it was used more for trade. The special replica was found here with the words in the house of God. So there's a debate whether it's talking about this house of God inside Tel Arad or we're talking about the house of God in Jerusalem. Really great, significant archaeological evidence which then connects us to the stories of the Bible. Really beautiful.
What an incredible day to be in a place where our ancestors would worship God, not even in Jerusalem. Levi, what do you feel about today?
Really incredible to see the Israelite fort city, to see how much they cared about God and they fought for it, the ways that they lived. Really visualizing stories that were into the Bible helps me connect to it. Being in the land, in the same location to pray and to see the same viewpoints, the same hills, the same valleys, really kind of brings it alive because we can see where they would have come through.
It's been so incredible. Thank you guys for watching. We hope that you join us again. If you want more Israel-related content, go to allisraelnews.com, hit the notification bell, hit subscribe, and Levi and I will see you in the next one.